Hi everyone, today I will be sharing how to design a grammar lesson. I know sometimes teaching grammar can be a bit scary because it may turn out to be you lecturing all the time and students are just sitting there and listening without any participation. That will be very frustrating, right? But if you know the framework, if you know how to do it, then it's not that hard to do. So before every lesson, there are two things that we have to do. Number one, do the research, know the grammar point inside out. Number two, teach only what's in your lesson, because sometimes there are a lot of different parts about this grammar point, but don't teach everything because that will be too much. So now let's come to different stages in a grammar lesson. The first one is the warmer. It's just like any other types of lessons. A warmer is basically something fun that gets the students talk a little bit. And then is your lead-in part. Well, this is where we engage students with the topic. And please remember, don't try to teach grammar at this stage because this is the time for us to talk about the topic. For example, this class I will be teaching the present perfect tense, and I would like students to use this tense to talk about their life experiences. To be more specific, their travel experiences. So the whole topic will be travel. And for my lead-in, maybe I will ask, how often do you travel? And what are the things that you have to do during every trip? Like this kind of thing, to let students talk a lot of different things about this topic. And then it comes to the third stage, which is to present your target language. And in this case, the present perfect tense. So maybe I will talk about some of my personal traveling experiences, and I will be using the present perfect to give my examples. Like I have been to Australia, and also some other examples about other people, like my mom has been to blah blah, or we have been to blah blah. Well, the reason for us to change different subjects here is that students have to know different perspectives of this grammar point. And then after presenting my examples, then let's try to elicit different parts of this grammar point. Number one is try to get the terminology. So I will highlight has been, have been, and then ask the students, what is this called? Does anybody know? And normally there will be one student shouting out the answer. But if they don't know, that's okay because we can just provide them. So after getting the terminology, the second part is to get the function. Why do we use this grammar point? It's not like because we will be tested in the exam, so we're learning it. Well, it's more like we have to use this in real life because we're using the present perfect to talk about our personal life experiences. So you see, that's why we need to get the function. And also we need to CCQ everything. Some of the CCQs will be like this. When did it happen? Or did it happen now? Or did it happen in the past? Or is this the past tense? Or how is it different from I went to Australia in 2010? So if students can get these questions correct, then it means they understand it. They know the function of it. And after this, we need to talk about the third part, that is trying to get the structure. So maybe I will ask, well, how can we form the present perfect? And if you're working with stronger students, then maybe they will say, of course, we need to first have the subject and then have has. And after that, the past participle of the verb and also the rest of the part. If your students are not that strong, they cannot give you the answers like that. It's okay. We can still guide them. For example, I can circle I, she, or we, and then ask, what is this? What do we call that? And they can just say, yeah, subject. And it's okay if they cannot give me the English. As long as they can say 主语 in Chinese, then we can simply provide the English version. And after subject, what do we have here? Yes, have or has. And then what about this ed part? Okay, is that the past tense? No, it's not. It's not the verb here, right? So it's called the past participle. So after this, we're going to work out the negative version and also the question form. So that will be the end of this presentation stage. We need to cover 3 parts, as I said just now. The first one, terminology, and then the function, as well as the structure. So next stage will be about a controlled practice. Well, this is where students will do a closed and relatively easy practice. Take this class as an example. Maybe I will ask the students to do a gap fill exercise. I will provide them an interview, and students need to complete this interview by using the correct forms of the words in the bracket. So by doing this, they will practice how to use the present perfect tense. And while students are doing this, the teacher cannot be sitting there or standing there doing nothing. We need to go around the classroom and to observe the answers of students and try to find as many mistakes as we can and try to correct them on the spot. Because the aim of this activity is trying to develop accuracy. So we better correct in time. And then it comes to the next stage. Normally we call it a freer activity. Did you notice that? I said a freer activity, not a free activity, because students cannot go from a closed practice to a completely free activity. We need to have something to bridge the gap. And in this lesson, I will be using a worksheet with different pictures on it. Some of them will be shopping or taking photos or going hiking, basically different activities people will do during traveling. And some of the phrases or sentences might appear in the previous activity. So students are kind of recycling the expressions and practicing how to use the present perfect by asking, have you been to, or have you, blah, blah, like that. And then it comes to the last stage. That will be the activation, or you can also call it a free practice. This is where students can practice their language freely. And in this lesson, I will be asking students to do a real interview. And some of them will be people working in a travel agency, and some of them will be the candidates. So by asking questions, by using the present perfect, the travel agency needs to find who the best candidate is. So students will be practicing the key grammar as well as other useful expressions. And please remember, let's try not to correct their mistakes at this stage, because the aim of this activity is to develop fluency. So we'd better provide delayed feedback. We can do the error correction. We can also praise the good language use. So that's basically everything. Now let's do a very quick sum up. The first one, a warmer, and then the lead-in part. Please don't teach grammar here. Let's try to talk about the topic only. And then presentation stage. Let's cover 3 aspects: the terminology, the function, and also the structure. And then the controlled practice to develop accuracy. And a freer practice, the last one, an activation. I know some people may call it a controlled practice, a semi-controlled practice, and then a free practice. Well, it doesn't really matter as long as you know the aim of the activity, right? Well, that's everything for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.